Hi, beautiful soul. My name is Ariana. I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, and PhD student, and I have a message for you. Now, this is my second reading that I'm doing on my YouTube channel, so hello and welcome. I love how my AC turns on immediately as I start this, so excuse me one second. So the energy that I was getting today, and I plan on doing daily readings if I can, or just posting more frequently in general. But as I was setting the intention, I was getting ready before I sat down to make this video. And as I was getting ready, I was hearing like, spirituality saved my life. This is going to be a deep read. I can already feel it. And I was channeling like, your spirituality saved you, spirituality saved you, your faith saved you. And I started kind of getting a lot of information at this time as well. I started getting even just glimpses of like addiction, of homelessness. This read is really for people that feel like that, feel like their spirituality, their relationship with God, source, Christ consciousness, angels, source, spirit, whatever your words are. I know we all use different wording that feels good to us, and I'm really just feeling that off the bat from this collective here. And I feel like you're very, I feel like a lot of people say you're very tapped in, you're very spiritual, and what I mean by that is like it doesn't have to be your career. And I'm seeing that it's just something, it's how you see the world, it's how you operate, it's how you view yourself. And I think that maybe regarding your spiritual awakenings, it actually came through first with seeing society, seeing systems, seeing the world, global issues in certain ways. And then it was kind of a remembrance of who you are as an individual. And I think that, you know, there's many levels of spiritual awakenings and what they can look like and feel like. And I feel like what I'm feeling right now is like twofold or back to back, where I'm also seeing 2018, 2020. So maybe around that time, you kind of feel like you had a spiritual awakening, or your perception of the world, of life itself, of systems, of yourself as well started to shift. I want to get some oracle here to get started, but I'm just feeling like it was divinely orchestrated. I'm also picking up something about your childhood or the way you grew up. And I mean that in as far as like the way you grew up, like who you are now was not birthed from where you came from. It was almost like you were grown up to be taught a certain way. You were grown up and taught to see things certain ways, and who you are now, the way you perceive things now, I'm hearing self-taught, or like you've transformed all of this within yourself. And you know, I'm also kind of hearing something sassy right now as well, of like, as like, I take all the credit for my healing or something, like as if maybe you've had to heal, or you came from karmic relationships or had karmic relationships in the past, or like in your family and how you grew up, you were always around them. And so it's the energy of like, I healed myself from what I've experienced as a kid, but ultimately I'm feeling like you kind of carved a new path for yourself. Whatever your perception is now is not something that was really talked about. Maybe emotions weren't talked about. Faith wasn't really talked about that much in the home. It was something that you were supposed to be, and something you were supposed to honor and maybe take part in or participate in, but it wasn't like embodied, is what I'm feeling in your family home here. We have compassion, number 17 here. So I'm seeing that like I'm feeling like when it comes to the phrase, your spirituality saved you, your spirituality has saved you, is that with compassion, it's helped you see things through love. It's helped you see yourself through more love, instead of maybe not having any connection to your spirituality and faith, and seeing things more from like a 3D perspective of like superficial, like this is who I am, this is what I look like. But ultimately, when we jump into spirituality, or we start to tap into our faith and more of a eternal energy, right? It's like who you really are here is not you know what I mean? Like I feel like you've had that spiritual perspective shift where you were like, with self-love, and I can relate to this as well myself, is like you start to perceive yourself through the lens of the divine instead of perceiving yourself through society expectations or beauty standards that are constantly shoved in our face. And through your faith, you're able to see yourself as a unique individual, as a child of God, as a child, like a piece of source, whatever your words are, is like, oh, like I feel like, especially with me, which I normally don't talk about myself in readings, but I'm being guided to. And when it comes to me and my self-love, like body image, stuff like that, looking at myself as like this vessel, as temporary, as, my name and my face and all this stuff is like temporary. It's for this life, but it's not who I really, really am. And it kind of helps you detach from emotionally, like, having that perspective of yourself of like, oh, I look like this, and you're critiquing yourself in the superficial ways. And it's like, when you zoom out and see things more from like a 4D or 5D perspective, is just like through love. Like compassion here for me is like love right now. 17 is also 8s. So yeah, I'm seeing that like your spirituality helps you love yourself, or love yourself through what you were going through in a time where maybe you felt like you were considering giving up, in whatever way that may relate to you. Maybe you were like gonna throw in the towel as far as like, you were building towards something, or maybe you felt like a lot of things got ripped away from you at one point in your life and it left you kind of at a rock bottom moment, or you had a hard look in the mirror at yourself and like a really hard conversation with yourself. But your spirituality, your faith, I'm also seeing important people around you that may have also like unintentionally played a role. Like maybe you have people that are connected to their faith and they might have said something that really stuck with you back then and led you down your own path and your own trajectory to where you are now. Let's see if there's any more messages with this, a mystical journey deck. This is my first deck that I ever got and I love it. Any other messages for this beautiful soul? I just have I'm hearing like deep appreciation for yourself for choosing the choices you made back then, whatever back then is. It could have been that rock bottom moment for you. It could have been realizing like maybe you weren't at a rock bottom, but you were just unfulfilled in your life, and you realized maybe you built a life in a direction or on a certain foundation that you realized didn't align to you anymore, and so you kind of had to like backtrack or reevaluate, reorganize things. I'm seeing like ego death, like maybe you realize like what you always envisioned for yourself kind of was fallen off a pedestal, and you kind of were like, oh, I don't have to have this vision if I don't want it. Or like you did want it at certain points of your life, but you realize at some point, like, no, I'm going to honor me and what's authentic to me because that has changed, and sometimes it's hard, especially as like a young adult or an adult at any age, to make a choice and change things around when you've been steadily going in a certain direction. But you always had that faith. I feel like you always had that inner knowing of like, everything is going to work itself out, and there are going to be challenging moments, but at the end of the day, I trust that everything will work out. I just feel like you're so like positive. And I know, I want to say like, people that are like that typically do go through, they don't always have to, right? But they typically have gone through certain things that have strengthened them, and kind of shaped them and molded them to view life that way, because they viewed the contrast, like people that are the happiest and the most stress-free people, it's like, you later realize that they've gone through like the darkest stuff, and you're like, how come they're so happy all the time? How come they're not taking this so personally? And it's like, because have you seen the shit that they went through? You know what I mean? Is kind of coming through right now. Okay, we have the Chariot and the Judgment in reverse. I feel like right now you're going through some sort of like self-doubt. Like I feel like you're very spiritually tapped in, but you also carry a little bit of doubt right now regarding something. But we have the Chariot here. Like these are kind of like weird opposite energies, where the Chariot's about overcoming, it's about victory, it's about you being the change, your energy being the one that changes things. And then we have Judgment in reverse, which is like being indecisive, doubting yourself, not wanting to learn lessons. I feel like maybe what's coming through is something like it took you some time to really understand that a lot of the energy that you were unconsciously carrying for a lot of your life wasn't actually yours. It never was. And so I feel like I'm seeing someone like with their head in their, like sitting like this with their head in their hands, and they're like, I don't understand why it's so hard to heal this, or like looking at your doubts or your insecurities, or something is like difficult for you to overcome or to heal from, and you're like, I don't get it. Like, I've been working at this for so hard. I don't understand why there's so much resistance in me. And it's because I feel like you carry a lot of people's expectations, a lot of people's energies, that aren't yours to carry. So it's like the voices you're hearing in your head are really not yours. As conflict, 5 of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. This is the energy of opposition. Could be like temper, fighting, disagreements, butting heads in perspective as well. So I'm just seeing like maybe even the fact that you went down a spiritual path, or things like your perspective of life and yourself changed, and now you operate differently, you live differently, you make different decisions. You love yourself in ways that the past version of you really needed. And I think that it's taken you a lot to unlearn and rewrite the expectations, the limiting beliefs that maybe were projected onto you from being a child. I feel like you're Queen of Swords. Yeah. So I heard discernment when the Queen of Swords came out. Like, using discernment. I feel like Source, God, the universe has helped you grow your discernment, right? And that's why I feel like for you, I feel like you're the type of person, this collective are the type of people that use the lower moments, the challenges, as opportunities for growth. Like I said before, I feel like whoever this is a very open-minded, positive kind of person now. And I feel like with the Queen of Swords, this is giving discernment. Like, you are now able to use your discernment. I feel like your discernment has strengthened as well, because you use the opportunities of like, oh, I see what's going on here. I see that this is an opportunity for me to, like, I see that I'm being triggered. How can I approach this in a new energy? Like, I feel like you use I don't want to say test. Like, this is the energy of you being tested, recognizing the test, and in turn, growing your own discernment of what's going on around you, the energies that are around you, what you allow to come in, what you allow yourself to absorb that people are saying about you, or agreeing with whatever, and then choosing to release and not absorb and not take personally other things. Like, this is discernment. And I feel like this is a huge skill that is just like, it's a life skill, you know what I mean? To be able to discern, is this right for me? Do I feel good in this environment? Am I valued here? Like, all of this stuff is coming up. And I think that there may be a period in your life where you didn't have that, like, inner knowing or ability to trust and just trust your own judgment, your own instincts. And I think with the Queen of Swords, this is like a feminine energy, but it's also about like standing up for yourself and being clear about what you deserve, how you deserve to be treated, what you will and will not tolerate moving forward here. I'm hearing God made you a warrior. Like, and when I say that, it's my spirituality, and what I believe is that God lies within you as well. So it's not someone outside of you making you be like this. Like, you had a very active role in this as well. Like, you chose to use these as situations, as lessons, as opportunities of growth. You chose to view yourself differently, instead of staying in that victim mindset. There's a lot of like energy here that I want to say is like, celebrate yourself. Like, a lot of us don't want to, or have a hard time recognizing the internal growth, because we're like, yeah, what's the big deal? I have discernment now. But that is so priceless. Like, you are rich in spirit as far as your skill, your ability to discern, your self-awareness. And I think that your faith has played such a huge part of your life, in your growth and in your evolution. And there's something here about like how you didn't have to walk this path, and maybe the version of you that started walking the path didn't know, obviously, what the path was going to bring and what was going to happen down the path, but you just followed your guidance even when you weren't conscious of it. You just moved the way that you felt you should. The Hierophant and the Knight of Cups here. there is some sort of commitment coming forward. It's something coming in, it's something coming to you. And the cups are all about relationships, and the Hierophant is all about like tradition and commitment. So what I'm seeing is that there is some sort of someone around you. It's interesting because I don't typically feel like this is someone that you know. Maybe their energy has just been around you. They know of you, but you don't know of them yet. Something like this. But this is about someone seeing this, someone seeing your perspective. I'm hearing someone say right now, like, wow, I really haven't met anyone like this person before. And I feel like I'm seeing the word deep. Like, and that word has actually been coming up a lot for me in my personal reality a lot, is deep, like deep end, jumping into the deep end. Also, the Chris Brown Healing Energy 11:11 song is coming up as well. But I'm really feeling with this Knight of Cups and the Hierophant is that, like, either you have a lot of knowledge or just ways of perceiving things that people, like, someone wants to come and ask you for your advice because of how you're able to express things, how you're able to speak on things or see things in certain ways. Or this is like a romantic, like someone's seeking you out. Someone sees like, wow, they see like they're a deep person. You know what I mean? But either way, it's like I'm seeing two kinds of energies right now, which might just be this collective where you're falling into one or the other. Where like I'm feeling like I'm hearing like fairy godmother, like you are the oracle. You're the person that everyone wants to talk to when something's going on, and you help ground people but also speak truth, and you're not sugarcoating and fluffing their ego. Like someone wants to inquire, someone wants to share their ideas with you or ask you for what you think about something. And it's because of the way that you embody your spirituality, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to look like it. Like, look at me, I'm just wearing a little tank top and leggings today. Like, I don't look spiritual. And so you don't have to be like that. But people know you like that. People know the way that you're viewing things. People see that and know that you see things in deeper levels, like beneath the surface. And so they come to you when they need that skill. But I feel like when people do come to you for that, you're like, you understand that it's doing them a disservice by allowing them to just like know the answer and know your perspective. And you're more so the type that helps guide them to their own perspective and their own inner knowing, which is why I'm seeing like fairy godmother and oracle and like prophecy, like you're kind of like that person. And then for the other kind of part of this collective is I'm feeling like someone knows of you, like someone's heard information about you and how you are and how you operate and how you see things and what you stand on and what you like don't care about or whatever, and they are coming to you like as a romantic partner or a romantic interest. They're attracted to. I'm hearing you're gorgeous, and you could be a man watching this. You could be a gorgeous man, but like you're gorgeous and people will be like, yeah, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, whatever, they're handsome, but like you emulate that energy. Your aura is magnetic. Like your aura is gorgeous. So it's like, it's giving the energy of when people see you, they're like, oh, that's an attractive person. But then they meet you and they're like, wait, this doesn't make sense, because people's own limiting beliefs tell them like, oh, if someone's attractive, they're supposed to be a bitch. Or if they're attractive, they're supposed to be a dick. You know what I mean? But then they meet you and they're like, wait, you're hot and you're funny, but you're also like super, like, it's giving, you don't know you're beautiful. It's like you're walking around like a 10, like a dime piece, and like you don't think you are. So like people are like, damn, that's a dime piece. That's a 10 out of 10. Like, look at them. They're so attractive. But then like, they have their own preconceived notions of like how you're gonna be like like as a personality, and then they get to meet you and they're like, wait, you're so like silly, and you're I'm feeling like an energy of like you're so, it's weird. I feel like there's so many parts to you. Like you're funny, you can be silly, you can be yourself, but you can also like really have hard conversations, or you can go there, like go be deep, or you know, it's giving the energy of like a man goes on a date and all these women are trying to like prove themselves, like they're clearly insecure on the date, but then when they meet you, like you're just kind of like, hey, what's up? Like so like it's secure in who you are that you show up relaxed and almost like, this is who I am, you know, like not like, hi, like I really want you to like me kind of energy. And that's why I feel like you're so magnetic in general now. And I think, again, like going back to the whole message of this reading, is that spirituality saved your life. And I also feel like maybe it has rescued you in moments of like decision making, but it's also healed you as far as like deeper. It's healed your relationship with yourself. It's healed the way you view other people. Right? And we're all imperfect human beings, but like I'm just seeing like if you were to sit down and give a testimony or talk about your life, you would attribute everything to your faith in your spirituality. And I feel like there's a lot of emotion as well. Like there's a lot of energy in my body. There's a story behind this, and there is a message. You have a message. You have a story. There has been divine synchronistic moments that have happened as they should have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, looking back, you can tell like that was supposed to happen back then, you know, and then like it made sense because then I did this and now I'm here, you know, like everything is tying together. And I'm feeling like you are maybe realizing this now, and that's why you clicked on this video, or you like, I'm just feeling like this collective, not only has spirituality saved you from whatever the circumstance was, whether it was insecurity, whether it was addiction, whether it was making a choice to completely uproot your life. You know, it could have been those drastic, complete 180 life moments, or it could have just been the fact that you were waltzing along in life and you felt so disconnected from the earth, from society, from yourself. And when you started to pursue or just go within, things started to make more sense the more you met yourself within, and it's led you down a path where you've become someone that you probably didn't ever think you'd become. And I'm so proud of you. Like, you are a walking light, and you're somebody that embodies it. You know, you don't just have the aesthetic, you don't just say the things, you genuinely feel this way, you genuinely see people this way, you see yourself this way. And that's what I was going to say in the beginning when I mentioned that, was I think that one of the hardest things for you guys along this journey was seeing yourself the way the divine sees you, right? Like when you look at the world, it is very easy to do your research and be like, and easily switch your perspective and be like, I don't like how that's running. It could be better. This is enslaving us, or this is a very limiting way of living, like whatever. It's very kind of easy to see that. But when you start to look at yourself through that higher perspective, when you start to look at yourself through the divine, I think that's also when a lot of healing took place for you. And a lot of baggage, I'm seeing someone drop like a bunch of luggage bags. Like you were able to just like drop the baggage that you were carrying for so long because those bags never belonged to you. Maybe you just picked them up for others when you were a child. And now you are like, I'm done carrying this anymore. I'm just feeling someone that's more at peace and is proud of themselves for where they have come to in their lives, and are spiritual in some degree, where you know that, you know, you would say that like, my spirituality saved my life, my spirituality totally changed my life, you know, whatever it may be for you. Obviously more readings are coming. I'm definitely gonna try my best to use more cards, but I've always had the intention of like using cards ever since I started a couple of years ago reading, to use the cards and channel. So I've developed clairaudience, clairvoyance. I've always been like clairsentient, empathic and stuff like that. But I know a lot of people prefer readings in certain ways where you see like 25 cards on the table and stuff like that. And I just sort of roll. Like once I press play, I'm rolling with the information I'm getting. Sometimes I get the cards and I just keep going with the cards. And sometimes I just keep receiving what I need to through my channel. So let me know if you relate to this, and stay tuned for more readings. If you guys subscribe to my channel, that'd be so amazing, because I think once I get to like 50 subscribers, I get to go live, which would be really fun to do on YouTube. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more to come, and we'll see how I feel like every reading's going to be different for me. Some readings are going to be a bunch of cards, some readings aren't going to be using the cards as much, and but yeah, ultimately the message is what's most important, and me being able to relay the message as clearly as I possibly can. So thank you guys so much for joining. I also have my podcast on this YouTube channel as well, so go ahead and check out my podcast episodes as well. And if you guys want to receive a reading from me, you can do so in the link in the description, and I will see you very soon for another reading.